After waiting around in some very heady, contemplative, and frankly quite depressing literature for the better part of this year, I decided that I needed something that might actually be pleasant to read. Per a recommendation from a worker at Changing Hands, I decided to pick up The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Although not without heavy themes and ideas, this book was certainly the pick-me-up that I desperately needed. The basic premise of the book is that the main character, Linus, works at an agency that is in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations imposed on orphanages that house the magical youth, children that either have magical abilities or are magical creatures, such as sprites, gnomes, etc. Linus, for the most part, lives a fairly dreary existence, alone with his cat and slave to a job that doesn't care about him in the slightest, despite his many years of service and strict adherence to the department in charge of magical youth's rules and regulations. One day, the higher-ups in the department call on Linus to travel to a faraway island in order to assess the viability of a particularly unique magical orphanage. Linus arrives at the island and is thrust into an environment equal parts foreign and uncomfortable for him, uncovering the mysteries of the island and its inhabitants, as well as discovering things about himself that he hardly imagined were there. The book is similar to other stories involving magical children that are treated as outcasts by society, such as X-Men, or more recently, The Umbrella Academy and Doom Patrol. But what differentiates the story from the others is the sense of warmth and affection with which it's written. Klune manages to pull at the reader's heartstrings without the prose feeling manipulative or overly sappy. The loving nature of the characters on the island exists in stark contrast to Linus's life at home in the city, and especially how he's treated by Dicamy. The shitty neighbors, awful weather, and horrendous co-workers act as an almost omnipresent evil, creating an atmosphere similar to 1984 or even Terry Gilliam's Brazil. Once Linus leaves on his assignment and arrives at the island, the sun starts to poke through the clouds of his existence, and his lack of self-worth slowly chips away, revealing a person as strong and capable as anyone else. Regardless of the plot, the reason that this book works is because of the characters present within it. We meet the residents of the island, including Arthur, the head of the orphanage, as well as all the magical children who have been shoveled away from the rest of society. Each kid has a unique voice and presence in the story, and their interactions with Linus throughout the book allow for Linus's personal growth and transformation to take place. Lucy, who is literally the Antichrist in child form, forms a special bond with Linus and exemplifies one of the core ideas presented in the book. Don't let your preconceptions cloud your ability to appreciate another person for who they are, or essentially, don't judge a book by its cover. Arthur also serves as an engine in Linus's journey by allowing Linus to see and acknowledge the qualities about himself that make him a unique and positive presence to those around him. Their dynamic together is super charming, and you really end up rooting for them as their relationship with each other starts to unfold and become more complex. The book does such a great job at navigating complex topics by wrapping ideas and storytelling that feels like a warm blanket on a cold winter day. The way it's written lends itself so well to imagining the world in your head that I would be beyond surprised if this doesn't get picked up as a movie or a miniseries or something. The world Klune has created feels fantastical and full of magic, while maintaining a sense of accessibility and groundedness that makes it feel completely lived in. Those magical kids on the island seem like they might as well be your neighbors, a part of the living, breathing world, and a presence so earnest that it warms you up from the inside. If you're looking for something to bring you out of a slump, or for a story to reaffirm your self-worth, this is probably the book for you. It's very easy to remain cynical in the face of the world at large, but I think it's important to let your guard down every now and then and engage with media that thrives in its sincerity instead of misery. As cheesy and uncool as some of the sentiments in this book may seem, the ideas present ring true and resonate in a way that's both heartwarming and believable. Living in the shadows of your own self-doubt robs the world of all you can offer it, and robs yourself of all the fulfillment and joy that might be on the other side. I wholeheartedly recommend The House in the Cerulean Sea. Try this one on for size and see if it doesn't make you want to get out of your comfort zone and do the things you were meant to be doing this whole time.
I just wanted to give a little shout out to the Patreon page that I just made. If you head over there, you can get exclusive content, including behind the scenes footage and announcements well before anyone else will hear them about what I'm working on. I just got this thing up and running, so it's going to take a little while to get a bunch of cool stuff up there, but cool stuff will come. And if you want to support me, then subscribe to any tier you want. Thanks.